Okay, it is hot as all what outside. And all I know is a lot of stuff is going on in the news. You guys have tuned in to Loving the Skin I'm In. D. Coulter, executive producer, Svengali herself. D. Coulter joined us, and we told you guys, a lot of people say you love the show, you like what we're doing and stuff like that. We're going to have difference of opinions, and we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff's in the news today, and D, what's been happening?
Well, there's a lot that's been happening, and even if you don't have a television like myself, and you follow social media and things like that, you can pretty much stay abreast of the things that are going on. So one of the very hot contested topics is the case or the situation of R.Kelly. He is back in the news. He's been accused, and I just give you, from what I understand. Accused. He's been accused of holding girls hostage. Young girls hostage, as a matter of fact.
Like how young?
Well,
because when you're saying girls,
right, well, to me they're girls, okay, but chronologically they're women.
Okay.
So 20 and 21, 22, it sounds like. Some of these girls, it sounds like they were groomed from the age of 17. He has 2 houses, and this is from what I'm reading of the author. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but R.Kelly has residence in 2 states that the age of consent, one is 16, and then the other is 17. And so it's kind of, even if he was with a girl who's 16 or 17, depending on the state, it's legal. So...
what's legal?
That's a good question, I'm glad you asked. Having sex with these girls. This is the allegation.
How come nobody told me about this? Go ahead. No, joking. Go ahead.
He's having sex with these girls, and the allegation we do want to say allegations is that he is recording these sex acts, and then of course he's showing it to his buddies, his homeboys, and
hold on. Okay, this is the same R. Kelly years ago that was urinating on a young lady who was Sparkles.
It wasn't him though.
His exact twin, his twin brother, because I happen to have seen that tape.
Right.
But you're telling me this R. Kelly is again doing these things, but now he is using the law to his advantage.
He's
versus
right. So I mean, I don't think it's any secret to nobody that this guy, he has, as you said, a propensity for young girls. He likes the young girls. There's been countless stories of him being with young girls. Aaliyah's the most famous case. She was 15 when he married her. Unbeknownst to her family, they were appalled and they had it annulled. I'm not a rapper, so I wasn't trying to make that rhyme. But so yeah, that was like really world famous that happened. And then, as you mentioned, this tape of him urinating and having sex with a 14-year-old girl came out, and he said it wasn't him, and he beat the case.
And he beat the case because he had the resources to beat the case.
And so spell out resources.
Resources mean he had the money to hire the best lawyers. And again, people, I don't know if people remember, it took 6 years for that case to go to trial.
Right, in which he's made albums and done everything he's wanted
right, and he's buying off witnesses.
Bought off the key witness. I wish I knew the name of the author. But he's been trailing R. Kelly probably 15 to 20 years. But the complaining witness, the girl in question in the video, he bought the family off.
Right.
At one point in time, her family, now they're from the south side of Chicago. Anybody who's familiar with Chicago knows that the south side is the urban area.
All the shootings and things like that happen.
So this family from the south side of Chicago takes a 6-month trip. I can't remember where it was, to like the Bahamas or something. They're gone for 6 months. How do you afford to be gone, your whole family, for 6 months, and you are virtually in poverty?
Well, if you save up your welfare checks and stuff like that.
If you get a nice check from the guy who's urinated on you and...
or your daughter or your...
sexually abused, you're going to... Well, it wasn't that bad. We're just going to say it wasn't you.
Well, let me ask you this. Because I'm also going to go there. R. Kelly on TMZ had a rebuttal to it. And he's saying... In the rebuttal, he sang his song, Ain't Nothing Wrong, with the little bump and grind, told everybody to get the hell out of... it was like a camera little sitting. But go see it on TMZ. But... I'm not saying, is predation in the black community a common occurrence?
It is, and especially when it comes to, let's just call it what it is, pedophilia.
Okay.
For some reason, it's very taboo in the black community. If a young girl says, well, Uncle such and such touched me, or Mom, your boyfriend sexually assaulted me, or whatever, we just have a habit of, for one, not all, because I don't want to get...
I don't want to stereotype, but
blaming the young girl. I even with this R. Kelly situation, you don't know how many times I've seen people say, or write online, oh, well, the girls are fast. They're hoes.
What does that mean?
Fast meaning, maybe she's switching her behind.
So what?
Right, she's still a child. And I know these women are legally of age, but what about the children that he has and has gone? I mean, he's paid out a lot of money for these people to go away that he's, slept with. A lot of these children have had abortions. He's made them have abortions because he's impregnated them. Just a whole bunch of just ugliness. So in our community, we're like, you know what? The girl was fast, or look how she dresses.
But,
and I'm just telling you that's what that argument is, though.
Yeah, but that argument doesn't hold water, because you could be... I mean, I go to the beach all the time. I see women in shoestrings, basically. And it isn't what you wear; it's how you conduct yourself. When a girl says no, she just means no. But unfortunately, this machismo and this gangster thing that's prevalent in our community, which I don't understand, because most of these guys that claim to be so hard and so strong, you find out that they're down low brothers or whatever they're whatever the situation is.
Right.
I mean, I have nieces, and I try to correct them in the way that they dress. But then again, I also know that they have self-worth about themselves because they have a father in their life that tells them, hey, this is, whatever. So.
Well, and you as a man, I know you would agree with this. I don't care if a woman is walking down the street butt naked. That should not make you come out of being an upright man.
Right.
That should not.
She's still a human being.
Yeah, I mean, you might look and say, "Oh my God," but at the same time, that's not her being scantily clad. Is not going to make you go up to her and say something off color or even touch her.
Right.
Because it's still wrong.
Right. It's an assault.
But that's the excuse people use. Oh, well, did you see what she had on? Or
so,
look at her.
So basically, they turned the victim into the criminal, and then the criminal into the victim, which is what I see what's going on with this R.Kelly.
Well, and the fact that now, they're of age, but their families are complaining, saying, like one family said, we sent our daughter off to college, and she ended up in the arms of R. Kelly, and we haven't talked to her since. Right. She's not going to college. We can't contact her. And so the girl, I don't know if you saw the video, she made a video saying, I want them to leave me alone. Yeah. I'm fine. But you can tell because you can see a shadow of people kind of telling her what to do and, coercing her, all of that. So it's like, okay, R. Kelly, if he's pretending.
Svengali.
He's watching. He's a Svengali. These girls' parents and family are concerned about them. Why not encourage the girls? Call your mom. Right. Call your dad. The last thing I need them to do is be saying I kidnapped you and holding you against you. Just call them.
There's a lot of listeners probably saying, well, why aren't the police stepping in? Well,
have.
There've been some welfare checks and things like that. But when you're a grown person, which is over the legal age of 18, there's really not much a policeman can do, because if they go over there and they say, hey, is everything fine? They go, yeah, I'm fine. Everything's good. Da-da-da-da. There's really not, you can't investigate, even if it is a cult, they really can't do it. So people listening, you got to understand, it isn't as simple as, call a police and see what's happening. Right. It isn't that simple.
No, and it's not. As you said, they did welfare checks and said, well, the girls are fine, everything's great. There's no crime being committed, even though some of the people who used to work for him said, he physically abuses the girls and all of that. So
see, and what I hate is the fact that these people who used to work for him, it's always after the fact.
Right, you were taking the money.
Yeah.
But whatever happened while you're not there.
Or he got rid of you and got a replacement in there. Very, very, very sad. But, here's the thing. People say, well, if they're above age, and they've got some people that have both sides. Yeah. Here's my take. Think about yourself at 18 years old or 17 years old. Green in some states, 16 years old. Yeah. And where your mind is at that time.
It's very green. You don't know nothing.
It doesn't take much for somebody with a lot of money. You love his songs. And you're into this fantasy of, oh, God, I'm going to, and the guy, you meet him and you're just starstruck. And that's why I try to tell a lot of my relatives and my sons and kids and nephews and people like that, stop being starstruck.
And to that point, and I want to, be fair. One of the girls, I think is the girl in the video yesterday, her and her mom and dad went to a concert, and he saw her out there and brought her up, and so they were like, oh, wow.
Yeah, she's interested, right.
She has a demo. She's a singer. And so they get, all caught up into the limelight, but it's like, everybody and their mama knows R. Kelly's
history.
Past. And so how much money is enough money for you to basically sell your daughter? Because that's what they did. And I mean, she hasn't made a demo or nothing,
right.
but the potential of getting money, how much of a check could he have written you to leave your daughter with somebody with such a salacious past?
Right. But then again, just like pro athletes and anybody else, they are targeted. Putting positions. I would tell anybody that's going to be a pro athlete, whatever, you got to protect yourself, because if this chick is coming to you and giving it away, what's wrong with it? There's got to be something wrong with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a setup. I'm not saying she's a bad person or she's going to give you some heebie-jeebie.
Times we've heard of,
yeah.
Oh, he did this to me.
Right. Tupac. Tupac was convicted not of rape. A lot of people still think he was convicted of rape. It wasn't rape at all.
Right.
He was convicted of something minor to that, because, Tupac had got with the girl, whatever, but he wasn't convicted of rape, but that's what the media wants to portray about Tupac. He wasn't convicted of rape. And but the thing is that's a lesson learned there, because a lot of these people that get in trouble, it isn't them, it's the people that they hang with.
Right.
These young girls. I mean, there's groupies everywhere, but you're going to be a target every time. And I'm not saying this girl was a target, but even as parents, I always tell people this. Michael Jackson. I love the guy to death. I mean,
yeah, I know you got.
I got the Jacksons albums, everything like this, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't leave my kids there.
Even though it was proven that he was not.
Yeah. He's not a pedophile according to the law.
It's not to say I'm not leaving him because you are.
No, I would never leave my kids with Michael Jackson. That's just me.
Yeah, just to protect you and me and mine. I mean, it's just common sense. Right.
So, again, back to what you were saying about R. Kelly. Knowing what this man was accused of, why would you even put your daughter in that position?
People sell out for money all the time. I mean, from what I understand, this guy is worth $150 million.
Yeah, he has a lot of publishing.
So, there's nothing... I mean, you getting it with the right people? Name your price.
Well, I don't. I hope this doesn't come off wrong, but like people, stigmatize the ghetto and being from the hood and whatever, and now that's glamorized, because in our day it was about getting out of there, but now Negroes want to stay. But I'm gonna say one thing about this: there are a lot of beautiful women in the ghetto.
Oh, absolutely.
Or there's a lot of beautiful women everywhere, but I'm just saying the stigmatize of women in the ghetto. So I could kind of see R. Kelly saying, well, why should I get this Sadiddy chick that went to Harvard that has sense of self-worth when I can prey on this chick that, you give her a couple of bucks or you do this and she's content and happy.
I think what's really playing a role in that is the lack of economics. You go to somebody who is economically disadvantaged. He's a superstar. Hey, I got a bunch of money. You know what? You could probably use a pair of Jordans.
Yeah, you could come on tour with me, show you what's up.
So the parents are like, well, better than what we doing.
Well, did you see the New Edition story?
I did.
It's almost the same thing, but in reverse.
It's lack of economics and a lack of education.
Right, but you see how the moms were, oh, hey, where's our check?
They split a $3 and
24-cent check after everything was all said and done, because they didn't.
They've been all over the world.
Right, they the moms don't know the business. They're just economically disadvantaged, like you said, and these
lack of education.
Right, and these kids were predated on.
Yep.
As simple as that, and it happens over and over in our community. 5 Heartbeats. Another example, record company comes in there. Hey, we're going to do all this, going to be great singers and stuff. Tony Braxton went bankrupt twice. Music industry.
Because people get caught up by the glitter and the possibilities of, instead of reading the fine lines and saying, well, if I'm that good, I'll be that good to somebody else who's going to pay me and appreciate me.
Or control your business, control your publishing, control your writing. Don't give that away and leave that to somebody else, whatever it is. Why do fools fall in love? Frankie Lyman, how they put his name on top of his stuff and had all that money, and at the end of the day, there was no money left.
The movie Cadillac Records with all them Howling Wolves and Muddy Waters and all them, they died.
It's a constant constant lesson that we don't seem to learn as a people.
You know what I watched the other day, and I'm sure you probably watched it, but it was
I like to watch Maury and Jerry
yeah,
Springer.
we know. I can't remember the name, but it was a movie about Iceberg Slim.
Yes. Oh, yes.
That Ice-T and Chris Rock and them are.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent movie. But do you know the part that I tripped out on? Here's a pimp who has made a living in pimping women.
Yes.
Gets pimped by the publishing company.
Yes.
That wrote sold all those books, made them into movies. He gets pimped by the publishing company.
You know, and here's the funny thing too. Here's a pimp who made money off of all these women, has daughters himself.
Yep.
You know, to me that's just ironic. He has daughters. Now, how would he feel if his daughters were?
Well, people who are in that life, they never see that for them, their
Family.
family.
Yeah.
They see that for your family,
right?
but they'll try to kill you.
Right.
Try to put their daughter on the straw.
And he had beautiful daughters.
Yeah, he did.
Beautiful daughters. So, I mean, lesson learned. But what do you think is going to come out of all of this? I mean, it's all over the news right now.
Yes.
So, I don't know if the media and the system is going to go after R. Kelly.
No, I don't think that they will on this, simply because, as people have argued, what he's doing is legal. But when you do wrong, it may not come back to you tomorrow, but it will come back to you. You know what my philosophy, or what I think is going to happen? I think some stone that he thought was turned over is going to flip over and say, hey, here's what I got, and here's the evidence. He's going to get caught up. Or
here's the thing, you know, there are smart people that come from the ghetto and are in the ghetto.
Oh yeah, don't ever underestimate.
I mean, with all his employees that have probably left, there is probably evidence somewhere down the line.
I bet everything I own
because
there is.
Because you know, I'm not saying I do this, but if you're going to videotape yourself in sex acts, you don't necessarily delete that because you want to show it to your boys and whatever you're doing. So I'm very sure somebody in that household has access.
Yes.
And has copies, and they're looking for a payday.
And even if he's doing it with women who are legal, I'm quite sure that he's seeing it. I didn't see it, but I know people who have. I'm sure there's some videos out there with him doing it with underage girls. Yes. Absolutely. And it will surface.
Yeah, in Florida, in that case in Florida, they actually had pictures of him with these underage kids that they didn't, in the court case, they did not let it be admissible.
Right. So he just got away with it.
Yeah, well.
But you have all these fools, and I'm calling y'all fools, who are, finding ways. What's the difference between him and Hugh Hefner? Hugh Hefner ain't pissed on no little girl.
Right.
If he did, we don't know about it.
Right, and then Hugh Hefner isn't making all this money that the quote man wants.
Right. Also, not to defend Hugh Hefner, but since people are making him an issue, he's running a business. Everybody knows what Playboy is. It's a brand.
But by definition, though, isn't that still pimping? Living off the proceeds of another is, by definition, pimping.
But those women are legal, whether they're barely or not. He's not accused of doing
That's what they say about the Bunny Ranch guy, Dennis Hoff. He's a businessman, but he's doing the exact same thing in a legal aspect.
They're doing it legal. Those girls, nobody's come out and said,
ID has been checked. ID has been checked. All this stuff is going on.
Right. So there's no comparison there. There's none.
Right.
It's like, stop it.
Right. I mean, we're going to stay tuned and get that one now. O.J. Simpson.
Yes.
Is in the news. Yes, I loved O.J. Orenthal. James. The juice.
Yeah. He's up for parole tomorrow.
Okay.
You want to know what I heard as I was listening to? I guess it might come up.
Okay.
But so anyway, I was listening to NPR or something like that. No, KFI I was listening to. And they were saying that the whole 9 years that he's been in there, he's done nothing up until recently. I think
it was a cookie, right? He smuggled a cookie.
We didn't smuggle a cookie.
Right.
Some inmate made him and then handed him out to his homies, and this fool was out in the open eating the cookie instead of like the homeboys, under the bunk eating the cookie. The other thing is a female guard was walking by the cell.
Okay.
And caught him masturbating.
Okay, what's wrong with that?
Well, because it's some sex act.
Lewd sex act, right.
In prison, that it was really made to punish people for raping in prison.
Okay.
But so she wrote him up on a violation. She caught him masturbating. So they were like, that would really be petty if they brought that up.
Yeah.
They didn't have anything else. Okay, well, OJ, you're here for parole.
Right.
What we see here, you done got caught jacking off. I should
Masturbating. Yeah.
And you smuggled a peanut butter cookie. Well, we're just going to have to flat out deny that. I mean, I think it's safe to assume people masturbate in prison.
Yeah. In some form or fashion.
Yeah, and then they were saying, too, that she would have to prove intent, like, he, peeked his head out the cell. I don't know if you can
at her.
That. Yeah, and say, here she comes. And so am I.
Wow. I didn't think about it that way. But here's the thing. Usually like these guards that make those allegations, these aren't attractive guards.
I think they're trying to just chop up some nonsense.
Well, here's my thing. Okay, I'm one of the very few people out there that believe, as a black man, OJ didn't do it. And when I say he didn't do it, is when you're rich of that nature, in the 90s, early 90s, the crack epidemic,
right.
you don't get dirty hands. You're not going to get dirty hands. You can pay somebody a biscuit, and they would have killed whoever. So what I'm saying is he did it by.
He's not oblivious.
Yeah. He knows what's going on. But when people say, there's just no way. The evidence and the physics didn't jive up to all that blood, and he comes off with a cut on his hand. I mean, come on.
I have a few theories. I agree with you on that. If he didn't do it, like you said, but if I did it, but if he didn't do it, well, I don't know. Let's say if he did do it, he didn't do it by himself. Because, right. We can say everything.
Well, what I'm saying is he did do it. What I'm saying is he didn't do the physical act himself.
Right. He didn't just wake up to them coming and say, your ex-wife has been murdered. That wasn't news to him.
Right.
He knew something about it.
So I was saying, when you're rich like that, you don't get your hands dirty.
However, it made it hard to believe he did it when you got a racist cop, Mark Furman, who... had issues and, planted evidence. See,
but that's why I think he didn't do it himself physically. Mm-hmm. If they had gone another direction, instead of trying to link him directly to it, I'm very sure they would have caught him in a conspiracy to kill his wife.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. But long story short, he's been locked up for 9 years.
9 years.
I think...
What do you say? Is he getting out?
I think they should let him out.
But is he getting out? And then, so why do you think he should get out? And is he getting out? Why or why?
Well, he's a perfect record in prison.
Well, he got caught jacking off.
Yeah, jacking off in the cookie. Okay, over a 9-year period, he got written up one time. From my following of it, he's been a model.
Yeah, that's what they say.
A person, and of course, they're going to take care of a guy like that in prison.
He's 70.
70 years old. He shows some remorse in what he did for the robbery.
Right.
I got to distinguish that.
Not ever get it twisted.
Yeah.
He got all guilty on all those counts, not because of what he did, but because of what he did allegedly in the past.
In the past.
Right.
And, it's been 9 years. He's been locked up. You can kill somebody in second-degree murder, and you're out in 7.
Well, hey, America, I'm just going to keep it real. White folks was mad about him. Allegedly getting away with murdering two of the liliest white people on the planet.
But, and that's the thing is, she wasn't no innocent type
she
chick.
Was. She was, to them, she was innocent.
Yeah, but
she's a white woman.
Yeah, but, but they're like, Nicole's estate. She was a waitress when he met her. What estate?
When Malcolm X went to prison, he got 10 years.
Yeah, old girl.
What did that judge tell him? Mm-hmm. He said, you shouldn't have been with them white people. And that is true even today. When
will these brothers learn? Why should you guys be happy? I'm just saying,
Hey, I'm saying
okay, if you're asking me on a level of adjudication, 9 years is enough.
Well, he was looking at, 30?
Yeah. 9 years, that's a third of his sentence. He's 70-something years old. Let the man go. And, if he screws up after this...
track record says that
he needs to leave. Will. He needs to leave the country or something like that. But what I'm saying is, he's 70 years old. You locked him up. If he hasn't learned by this point, you got to give him a chance like anybody else.
I honestly think they should let him out too.
Let him out.
What he's gonna do after that? Maybe do some more stick ups. Hopefully, he ain't killing no more white people.
Right.
I don't know, black people either for that matter.
Right.
But I think. That's 50-50. I don't know if they're going to let them out or not. Because I think they're still
mad.
They're still mad. Negro. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, you up for parole, but that don't mean we gonna give it to you.
Yeah,
If we got to bring up this masturbation cookie stuff, we gonna do it.
But I just can't see you holding somebody on something.
Well, I mean, this lady, the female
You're in
guard
prison.
By, if I'm in the minds of those people,
But you're in prison. There are no conjugal visits.
it's against the law. It's a law, the 2003 Sex Act, Prison Sex Act, and whatever it's called. It's against the law. And if this lady says, "Oh my God, I just felt like,"
but she walked in on him.
I'm doing my job.
Okay.
I'm walking the cell block, and he's masturbating, and I felt like that was toward me. And she
Lady, get over yourself. Yeah, lady, get over yourself. Get over yourself.
Hey, historically speaking,
there are a lot of videos on YouTube where you will see Tommy Sotomayor puts him up. Okay, Tommy Sotomayor puts him up, where these women correctional officers are having sex with the inmates, and it's a power thing to them.
I honestly, I think it's a setup. I think, maybe she didn't set him up to masturbate, but they sees the
compromising.
Like, why do we know about that?
Yeah. Oh wow, he's coming up for parole. Let's set this operation up.
It seem like I was the victim because he was getting his. You know.
Well, but as black people, we see that all the time in the justice system. Anywhere we go, you get pulled over. And even though the officer has no real reason to stop you, he'll say, your license plate was hanging. What?
Honestly, I was coming from Lancaster today, and that's in the sticks, in the middle of nowhere.
Were you on 138?
138, but before I got to 138, I had to take this long road in the middle of nowhere. And it's not a secret. Lancaster's considered Klans country.
Yeah, right.
So the whole time I'm thinking, oh gosh, let me not drive crazy. And who gets behind me? The Popo for like 5 to 10 miles. Right. And I'm like, okay, if he stops me for whatever reason, let me go on. Because this is going to be on live. Okay, I'm not going to come up missing.
Do I got a signal? Yeah. Do I got a signal? D, wait, what you need to do is do what you taking those long trips? I'm going to get you a body camera. Okay. I'm going to get you a body camera so that anything happens. Yeah. That way, in case, we know what happened to you. We know the real story. Right. So, but, I really do hope OJ gets out because I thought, what they gave him was kind of excessive.
They found him guilty on every last charge.
And he
jaywalked to get to the hotel.
And you're absolutely right. They convicted him off of the murder trial. But dumb Negro, everybody told you, Johnny Cochran told you, your lawyer said you lay low. You couldn't do that. And we can talk about this another time, but OJ also suffers from not thinking that he's a black man. Yes.
So, he's invincible. We
don't have to talk about that another time. Let's talk about that right now because that's what this show's about, the skin I'm in. Why do you feel he talks like that or feels that way?
Because he's gotten in, I don't know how much money he was making initially, but he got into that world where, assimilating, believing that you're white. He got over and got accepted into that. He got accepted and, cooning, and I know a lot of people don't like that word, but it is what it is, cooning and scat dancing. Denouncing everything black, left his black wife to get with Nicole.
Right.
And he just, even if you saw the movies, The People versus OJ.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Johnny Cochran walked into this man's house and had to make it seem like a black man
house.
Lived there.
Right.
And then when OJ gets there, he's like, this is not my house. This is not my things. It's like, Negro, I'm trying to save your life.
Right.
So, for whatever reason, he got into the white world and believed he was a white man. And what did they call him? The mayor of Brentwood.
Right.
So they, meaning, probably predominantly white people lived there. They loved him as long as he wasn't killing white women.
Right. Or let me ask you this. Did they really love him or did they tolerate him?
I think it's probably a little bit of both because he removed himself from everything black. There's no doubt in my mind that OJ got around a lot of the white people and talked about black people. There's no doubt that he did. And he got with them and down black people. Right. Because he probably, in the mirror, he saw himself as a black man, but he's like, I'm not those black people.
Right.
I'm the black people, like the black people you guys like.
Right.
So.
See, in my military career, I stayed black no matter what side of the coin I was. Even though when I got to the officer corps, I was still myself. I didn't fall into that, hey, Don, how you doing? My name's Donovan. Mustafa, the angry, and that's what I was categorized as an angry black man because I didn't want to change who I was to fit their narrative.
And let's not get it twisted because a lot of people think, you're talking white. what does it mean to talk white? It's technically speaking, but what does it mean to talk white? Because I use proper diction, grammar.
You're educated, right?
You're educated. Because me and you have had this conversation plenty of times with certain people. Let's say white people.
Okay.
Will say, "You're very articulate."
You're very articulate. Oh my gosh.
Well, what did you expect? Yeah. Hey, what's up, Ma?
It's really sad when they expect you to go, you know what I'm saying? Where was Pop?
Right.
It's real sad. It's just really sad. Right. And then you start talking like, and even now when I'm on the radio, I know I still have some mannerisms and things that I say. But that's because I'm having fun. But if I was doing a real serious function,
right,
I'll turn it on and be like, okay, well, here's how we're going to do this. And this is
because there's a time and a place for that. Trust me, when I'm at home, I'm all kind of ratchet in your words. But right. When I come outside of the house, I act like I got some sense.
Right.
But right. I think everybody does that. Mm-hmm. But I think when you what it means to not believe that you're black is when you have no knowledge of self. You don't know who you are as a black person. When you don't know who you are, you assimilate and you try to be everybody else who society deems acceptable. And now let's just get to this topic, because you talk about this a lot. We see a lot of black women who I don't want to go off all the way and say they don't love themselves, but I think there's something there when you do see a black woman with platinum blonde hair,
hazel contacts,
and all of that. Is like, why are you trying to suppress yourself?
Right.
Because if you really knew who you were, you would love yourself and not. I don't know if they're ashamed of it or maybe just like the look, but we see it too often, so it does make you ask the question: what are you trying to hide? Why don't you like your natural self?
Well, what's wrong with the way you were?
Right.
You're put.
So the same thing applies to OJ. If he really knew who he was, like, he's probably had a lot of white people looking at him and like, wow, I wish I was OJ. The athletic
build, and all that stuff.
All of that. I mean, he was.
People were wearing his jerseys. I mean,
yeah, and then he was very, what do you call it, Mr. Congeniality.
Yeah, he was very
commercials. And, so a lot of people looking at him probably want to be him, but he's not really wanting to be him.
Right, and the sad thing is after the first case. First thing he went running to was the AME church and was trying to I'm going to try my best to be black. And thank you guys for where I come from.
Right. So
why do you have to do that after the fact? If you had never left.
But you want to know what the dilemma is now? Let's say he gets out, because I guess he won't technically get out until October. Let's say October he gets out. The white community has hated him since since he had his ass in that Bronco on the freeway.
Right.
Let's just keep it real, okay? Because we saw the two screens, and when he got found out guilty, the two reactions. Yeah,
the two reactions.
So,
it was unbelievable.
Black people felt like, okay, he's home, he's back, and then what did he do? I mean, not saying you can't date who you want to, but he got a woman that looked just like
Nicole. So, why should he be happy? Why?
Well, look where he's at.
Yeah, exactly. Wait. His mama black.
Maybe you don't see her as black.
His mama black, his sister's black.
Weird, he loved his mother.
Yeah, he loved his mama.
I mean, he didn't want to turn himself in.
And guess who has been the most consistent person visiting him and calling him while he was in jail?
His ex?
No. His sister, his older sister.
Oh, yeah. What is her name? I can't remember her name, but yeah.
No, I don't remember the old name. Cleophas.
You stupid. Yeah, she has. She's been by his side the whole time,
I just hope if he gets out, he really laid
well, damn, he's 70. Like, what other kind of shenanigans do you got left?
Well, remember, shenanigans got left. He's still got to hide all that money from the Goldmans.
Yeah, not only that, because they said all the times that he's been in there, drawing a pension from the NFL, I think he's probably racked up $3 million just from that.
Yeah, I believe he was getting $25,000 a month when he went in. I don't know what it is now. Well, so add that plus the interest.
The Goldmans are going to be like...
Well, the thing is, though, by law, they can't take that money.
That's right.
Yeah, they can't take that money because that's a retirement thing, and he lives in Florida and stuff. So hopefully, he'll... If he's smart... Go spend time with your children and your grandchildren and just keep a low profile. I don't know if you can get a passport being an ex-felon. But see, I don't understand that law. If a felon wants to leave here, I would let them leave.
He's on parole, so he can't leave.
But, but I'm just saying, I would let felons leave and just don't let them back in the country.
Right. Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting how it plays out. It's
going to be interesting. Another subject we want to talk about is recently... well, you know what? I'm going to forego that because that's another show. That's another time. We're talking about Loving the Skin I'm In. And we were talking about these women who have the hazel eyes and the different locks. And I get on these women all the time. Because what I'm saying is you're seeing an epidemic of young girls getting boob jobs. There was one in Florida. The girl went to the cosmetologist.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a law. Once the implants and stuff are in place, you can't take them out.
Right.
Even if she just can't pay, you got to leave them in there. So this chick went to the doctor, gave him a stolen credit card or something. The doctor got suspicious of it. And they called it in, and the girl's in there getting some stuff done, whatever she was doing, a butt lift or what. I've never heard of a sister having to get a butt lift. But anyway.
Oh.
Well, I know there's some, but I'm talking about in general.
Record numbers.
Yeah, now.
Yeah.
It's just, when we were younger, that was almost unheard of. I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
You could be a small-chested black woman, but you had a nice shape.
You would be considered an oddity, a freak.
Yeah.
If people knew that's what you did.
Yeah, but this lady, so when they call the police under the suspicion, police on the way, the girl hears the siren, she's in the doctor's office, she jumps over the balcony and flees the scene and gets actually in a car and almost runs the cop down. Now she's in a Mercedes car. And
with a stolen credit card
to get some boobs and ass, whatever the deal is. And she's going. And a couple of days later, she turns herself in, and and that's a story you could look up on YouTube, whatever. Yeah. But what are we doing as a people?
Okay, it's a few things. And because we're Dovin and Skinner, and we're in, so we'll go ahead and talk about it from a black standpoint. To me, it's always going to go back to having a knowledge of self or not having a knowledge of self.
Okay.
You know that. When you have a knowledge of self, listen. I got a flat ass, and I'm cool with that.
Right.
I don't need to go put myself in physical danger to appease society, who now says, to me, I always liken it to the part in The Wiz, where the Wiz is saying you got to be seen green, so everybody turns to green, and then you got to be.
Oh, right, right.
So what's in now? Like green was cool then, but now
blue.
Right. Now, big asses are in. And to your point, black women didn't have no problem with that. But now you're seeing these gigantic monstrosities. I call them pumpkin booties. And it's like, ew. So let me ask you this. Because I've asked a few minutes. Okay. As a man, I know your type. Okay? So, but as a man, how do you find that attractive?
No.
So
it's monstrous because I'm a visual person.
So who are these women doing it for?
So when a woman has an ass like that, and I'm very educated, so I think a lot. The first thing I look at thinking, how much toilet tissue does it take to wipe that ass?
I mean, it just seems like a lot of work.
I would not want to be behind a woman that looks like a caricature or something. So. No, that's not my type. I know I'm usually with the glamorous model type, but that I could keep it real and get me an average sister. And, like I said, I'll take them 8 to 80, dumb, crippled, and crazy. It don't matter.
How about 18 to 80?
Yeah, 18, right, 18 to 80, dumb, crippled, and crazy. But I really love natural women.
So then who are these women doing it for?
I don't know. This Nicki Minaj thing and whatever it is. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier of R.Kelly and the starstruck. Oh, I want to be. You're not Nicki Minaj. You're not this person. You're you.
And then you have the explosion, and we'll call that of social media.
Oh my God!
A lot
girls
of times,
thirsty for likes.
Yeah, and then you know how long it takes people to take a picture, a perfect picture, and then you'll see some of these
Photoshop.
people out in public, and like, damn, that's you.
Yeah.
What? You get ran over by a train?
Yeah, remember that person we were doing that drive and you're saying, look
yes, and I showed you her picture.
I
you could not believe it.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
You could not believe it. But so that's what's going on with social media is telling young girls, like if my daughter, she would be 25 at the end of the year, but if social media,
she looks 16 though.
But the reason why she does is because I never fed into the whole, you got to have this kind of hair and makeup and just be young as long as you can.
Right, absolutely.
But I would have never if she was a young girl now and the age of social media, I wouldn't let her have an account.
Right.
You know what the stuff these kids see?
Oh my God.
They have these false images. You got Black China, who's got this big old giant booty and
oh my God,
the whole nonsense behind that.
Who would think that this woman's attractive?
Somebody.
There is nothing attractive about her or her mama.
People pay her to go to clubs and to show up and just be there. She doesn't do anything.
Oh, she's like a Kardashian.
Yeah, she just hangs out in the clubs for $10,000 a pop or whatever the case is, making an appearance and leave.
There's nothing attractive about that woman, and I would be embarrassed to have children by this woman because
the other thing is a lot of these young girls who are now coming up, they have moms who dress and act like that. So if you're watching your mama dress and act like that,
okay,
that's what you think is supposed to do.
Now you've hit a topic, and this is why I say about the weave. I'm not against weave as a whole. If you can, my aunt's a beautician. You have a beautician background. Good weaves are not cheap.
No, they're not.
Okay, and because they're not cheap, they're very hard to, tell, because it's a really good weave. When you have an 8-year-old girl who sees her mama in a weave 365 days a year, and the excuse of, oh, well, it just makes it easier and faster to do my hair.
Well,
that's
we
bullshit.
used to do our hair back
exactly.
In the day.
Stop being lazy. Because look, not only are you giving your daughter and your sons a stigma, you're also showing them you're lazy too.
I mean, we used to do our hair all the time.
And I'm going to say this, and I'm saying as a man talking to I don't want no lazy hoe.
It is what it is. Don't be what you don't want to have.
Right, and that's exactly why. And you know me, and it's not because the girl isn't beautiful. Like I said, if you're making a certain kind of money and you have a weave, I don't have a problem with you. But
my dad always says that I don't want no lazy woman.
Yeah, but when you're getting assistance and food stamps, and you got a weave in your head, and your kids are in Buster Brown tennis shoes busting out and a T-shirt, I got a problem.
Right. Yeah, well, again, we live in a society to where the things that you say don't matter. It's just how you look. Okay, let's take Amber Rose, for example. I don't know if you saw what she did a couple of weeks ago. She takes a picture of her lady part below her waist. She's naked down there.
And these women are raising children.
And these women are glorified. They're glorified. So when you have a woman who is intelligent, she can't compete with that. Because society is telling young girls, the bigger your ass is, the better you are.
And that's the problem I have, and people get my message mixed up. Women are now being objectified.
Well, I think it's fair to say that women have always been objectified, but now the women are glorifying the objectification of themselves.
Right.
They're like, hey, and then I'm not a feminist by no means at all. I am not a feminist. I get appalled when people try to say that I am. But a lot of these women are saying, I'm a feminist, so I'm going to show my snatch. That's not feminism.
That's not feminism.
You're just being a hoe.
Yeah, that's a hoe and an obscene person.
Because feminists are, from what the research I've done, they're powerful.
Right. They have an agenda.
It's easy to get out there butt naked.
To better their community.
Yeah, it's like people do that are better in their pockets.
Yeah, and like I said, I what kills me is how, these stars, so-called stars, get passed around, and girls want to emulate that.
Because they have, I'll be real with you, they have weak mamas at home who are not instilling knowledge of self into these little girls and say, you want to run as far away from that ideology over there. That woman who thinks that her body makes her who she is. Because in essence, those women's body do make them who they are.
Right, but your body, we're getting older.
Yes.
We've known each other since we were teenagers. Eventually, gravity takes a hold, and you're not going to be that young.
Not if you got a good surgeon. I mean, that's what a lot of them are doing.
Right, but even with the good surgeon, one botch job, look at Lil' Kim. That girl she was decent.
She was beautiful. Now she looks like a
oh my gosh.
woman.
And, and I think about the guy that got with her. It's like.
That was a money thing.
Yeah, but still, I mean.
Status.
There ain't no money in the world that would make me. I just have no words. I just have no words.
Well, there you have it. That's what's hot. Average women who, have an average body. I tell my daughter all the time, I said, look at these old videos, like the one with Rex and Effects, Rump Shaker.
Rump Shaker.
Those women didn't have no big old pumpkin booties. They had a
nice little apple bottom.
Nobody in there had no booty that was coming in the door 10 minutes after them.
Or these monster, boo-boobs.
Right.
You know
what? Now they do.
I guess. Okay, well, that's what we got for the first hour. We're going to come back and because we're not finished with this little thing real quick. I know Dee's got some stuff to do, but this is a really good topic. I really got to get on this. Stand by.
Verse coming 6 times rehearsed. Don't freestyle much, but I write them like such. Amongst the fiends controlled by the screens. What does it all mean? All this shit I'm